Hey everybody, Dwight Crosley here. It has been so awesome to be with you here at Harmony Hill Youth Camp 2022. And I just want to give a quick recap of our morning sessions. We were talking about being battle ready all week long. And so we went to the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verses 10 to 18, and talked about the armor of God. Now, our first piece of armor that we talked about how that is foundational to us that we have to put on is the belt of truth. And you'll remember this beautiful belt that you are very aware that I have never worn in my entire life. But the belt of truth represents Jesus Christ. And every single morning that we wake up, we put on Jesus Christ. He is our belt of truth. He's foundational to our life. All right, now that we've had our belt of truth on, we move on to the breastplate of righteousness. We talked about how truth is kind of the train tracks, and righteousness is our train that travels on those tracks. Jesus is our truth. He shows us how to live, and because of that, now we are going to live a certain way. So we put on our breastplate of righteousness, and it protects our heart. It protects who we are as human beings. Now that we've got truth, now that we're living right, now we can have true peace in our lives. And because we have true peace in our lives, we put on the shoes of peace. And there's not a greater feeling of peace than when you have Jesus and you're living right. You can have peace in your life, and not only in your life, but you can take it to other people. Now we kind of shift gears and we move from what we wear every single day to some of the pieces of armor that we're going to pick up. The first piece of armor that we pick up is the shield of faith. And we talked about how sometimes out of the clear blue, all of a sudden we're just smacked upside the head with a temptation. And those are the fiery darts of the enemy. And God says if we take up our shield of faith, our faith in Jesus Christ can help us to counter those attacks that come our way. And it's not necessarily how big our faith is, but it's the object of our faith. And the object of our faith is Jesus Christ. Now we move on to our helmet of salvation. And we talked about how the mind is almost always where the devil trips us up. He wants to get us to begin to think wrong things. And so that's why every single day, we're conscious of our salvation in Jesus Christ, and that protects our mind against the attacks of Satan. Finally, we have two pieces that we talked about in the final morning session, and that is the sword of the Spirit. And that's our little dagger that we can use, the Word of God. When the enemy comes close, we have some counter attacks against the enemy when he comes up and gets us. And that's the Word of God, and it protects us when the attacks come. Finally, we talked about how we can pray. And we have to be in constant communication with our commander to be battle ready. If we're going to live battle ready, we've got to be able to communicate with our commander. We talked about how prayer is simply a declaration of our dependency upon God and an intimate conversation between a father and a child. And we can do that every single day. So how are we going to be battle ready? We're going to wake up in the morning and put on the armor of God. I'm praying for you guys. I love you guys. It has been so awesome to be with you this week, especially in the morning sessions where I could just kind of come down front and talk to you. I'm praying for you this year that God will protect you as you put on the full armor of God. Let's go love and serve Jesus.